So, Cybertruck.
Cybertruck.
You got one?
I did eventually order, yeah. Did you?
I did.
Yeah.
Minutes after. I was late, I didn't watch the stream, and I Googled it just to see. That was my first reaction, was to go Google Cybertruck. And then I saw these articles, and I was like, okay, maybe they just had some renders and the press didn't update the image.
Yeah.
So I was like, Elon's Twitter. He didn't have any images at the time, so I saw the link to Tesla.com, and I was like, okay, this is real. And like I initially, I don't want to say I hated it, but I thought it was a joke.
Yeah, a lot of people did.
What was the reaction there at the event?
So any Tesla event, the crowd is always pretty hype. Like literally anything they do on stage, they'll just cheer. So like they rolled that thing up. There's like flames shooting out from like the stage, and like everyone's going crazy. Like, what are we gonna see? They could have rolled anything out there, and the crowd would have gone nuts. But they rolled that thing out, and it was so. Everyone was like half confused, half losing their minds, depending on like what part of the crowd you were in. Yeah, I was like in this little section with media, so there's a couple YouTubers around me, and we're all just kind of like, what is that?
The more I looked into it, I've never had such like a weird disconnect of like my brain and my heart, I think, because instinctively, like, it's not attractive by any means. I think what sold me the most is just like, hey, this is Elon essentially making one of his dreams come true. But at the same time, it's a super highly functional car, I think, especially what I would like it for. And I know we kind of talked on Twitter about the idea of this being like the ultimate video production vehicle.
Yeah. I'm kind of with you on the first part. Like they rolled it out and they were like, "Are you gonna get one?" I was like, "No, obviously not." But yeah, so we've always had we've wanted to do more car videos. I say we, like the team around me, and like car videos require another car that you can shoot out of. So we've been like juggling the idea of like, do we get a van for this where you can like slide the doors open, or do you get a pickup truck, because we've used that before and you can lie out the pickup truck bed. What we've been doing is like just opening the hatchback of my car and just like hanging out the back. And I think a lot of things about this truck are great for that.
Yes.
And we might still get a different one in the meantime, because it's going to be like 2 years before this comes out. But when you think about it, it's silent, so you can mic up a car and not be overwhelmed by the exhaust you're sitting next to. It's a pickup truck bed, so you can point out the back of it, but also the high sides, as silly as they look, they mean you can also like lean out the side of a car and get a side shot instead of a follow shot. It's got range. It's probably just as fast as any other car you're going to shoot, unlike the like giant vans I was thinking about. So yeah, a lot of these things are coming to mind. I was like, you know what? Maybe this isn't a terrible idea after all. So then I just think like, how much do I care about the way it looks?
Yeah, for me, I'm usually sometimes form over function, but I was completely sold on the function of this. And I know there's like the argument of, well, is it actually going to replace a pickup or a truck? And I think where we're coming from, we have a van, like one of those runner vans, and you can fit a billion things in the back, but it only seats 2, which is super annoying, because especially if you go into a production where in LA where parking is very minimal, you essentially want to punch yourself in the face to try to find parking. So bringing multiple vehicles sometimes sucks. And we recently got everything compact enough to fit in a Model 3, and it was amazing, because then whoever drove could use autopilot. There was a good sound system. So I think that idea, but with a 6.5-foot bed, is what sold me ultimately. And then Elon, I think, is enough of a mad lad where it's just like SAF is like, hey, can we get this in matte black? Sure, cool.
Sure. Yeah, I can't lie. That was a small bit. Like, obviously, I keep saying like I don't care about the looks of it, but I also think the looks are growing on me a little bit, and it's like a very slow growing on me. But yeah, matte black wouldn't hurt, I guess. Especially shooting car stuff. If you're shooting a car stuff, you don't want to have like a neon green or like a reflective color, because cars are reflective. So yeah, matte black.
Obviously, I think you're going to vote matte black, but if you could do a color that's not matte black? What would be?
I mean, I'm kind of into some cars now that are like gray or like stone gray or space gray, where they're not totally matte black, but they're still like pretty neutral and understated and stealthy. But that car is going to be so much about like the shape and the bar headlights. Like no matter what color it is, it's going to look like pretty militant. So I think you just lean into that and go either like, dark, like the midnight green of the iPhone 11 Pro, or just like black.
That would be amazing. I think that's what's cool about it too, right? Is like you don't have to worry about beating it up, whether you're throwing a C-stand or anything. Like, obviously, it had its issues during the demo with the glass, but for the most part, it's going to be tougher than most vehicles. So that's exciting. And like you talked about, imagine a scenario where you could get a video feed into that giant display and you're pulling focus.
Yeah, there's other crazy things you can do with cars that are dedicated to video rigs. I'd be curious if that ends up being a possibility. I know Teslas are already Teslas, but this seems so far removed from the DNA of any other Tesla that I almost wonder if like just the Cybertruck would be open to that sort of thing. I don't think there's any Tesla logo on it in the first place. Like it's that far out. So yeah, maybe that could be a thing.
Yeah, I've never seen a more polarizing thing. I tweeted about it and I woke up to like half people who were like, oh yeah, it's amazing, and half people were like, you're an asshole for liking it. What is wrong with you?
Yep. Yeah, definitely same idea. I think couple thousand comments now where it's just either, and I did a video about why I ordered one, and half the people are like, well, you're a fanboy for buying this. There's nothing good about this. This isn't even a good truck. And the other half are like, I want one too. This is sick. Take my money. Like, it's, very, very, very polarizing.
Right. And I think for me, and maybe some people who are mad at it, and it's one of those scenarios where if you kind of don't know, you don't know. But like if you've had the software experience with Tesla and, the fact that they could make a car faster through a over-the-air update, and those kinds of things would come to a potential production truck and not have to pay for gas, that kind of ultimately seals it for me. So it's weird, but I love it.
Yeah, every time I think about like using it specifically for production, I think of all the other vehicles we've tried to use for production and how it would have been functionally better than all of them. I just remembered when we were shooting a car video in the winter, and it was really annoying to have to, we'd leave the car. It was an Acura. We'd like leave the SUV running to keep the heat on, and we'd like get out the car and get like 15 minutes of shots, and then go back into the car to warm up. But it wouldn't stay running because we were all outside of the car like using it, and we didn't want to like leave the gas burning.
Yeah.
An electric truck would have been kind of a difference maker there.
I think, and you probably have a better idea. My favorite kind of forced scale example was Quinn using his body as it's a pretty big, it's a beefy sized vehicle, right?
Yeah, definitely. There's another overlay of an F-150, and it's like it's kind of the same wheelbase, but it's just like more mass. Yeah, if you like seeing it in person, it's a big truck. It's a big old truck.
I will see you in 2 years.
Yeah,
in a Cybertruck.
Hopefully.
You think they're gonna
cross our fingers?
When do you think these actually make their way into the world?
Well, it was interesting because they're going to start with the single motor rear wheel drive one, and then go into the dual and triple motor versions. But then Elon posted something about 100 or almost 200,000 orders, and almost half of them were the triple motor. So I kind of wonder if they're flexible about swapping that, doing the higher end, more expensive one first, like they did with Model 3. But all those details aside, yeah, I'm hoping it's in like 2 years, but Tesla's never known to be right on time. So I wouldn't bet on them being right on time, but hopefully, yeah, 2 years or so.
Cool. All right, man. Thanks for the convo. I know this is a weird one, but I've also never been more in, so appreciate it.
Yeah, anytime.
Cool. Thanks, Steve.